Hi, John Hollands here from RWP Group. Today I was going to go through folders and in particular the difference between folders with capacity, non-capacity, interlocking and also glued. So I'm going to start with this. This is an example of a folder with no capacity. So it's just basically a sheet of paper that is folded in two. So it's just got a crease down it. So it has no spine. This one is printed to both sides, and then the pocket is here and fits in with the design, and it's glued on this edge. And in here, this has got paper that's been tabbed. So you can see that these little bits here, there's a slot. You can see down the bottom there. So the bits, the sheets themselves sit over each other. So you've got a selection of tabs coming down this side here. So this is 200 grams. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets of 200 gram paper in a non-capacity folder. So there is, depending on the weight of paper, you'd probably get about 12 sheets of A4 100 gram in there without too much of an issue. So that's printed full colour to both sides, inside and out, no capacity, so it's just folded. This is another example. So this is an A4 again, but if you see here, just take it in, there's a spine. So this spine is what gives it the capacity, and that spine is 5 mil. So if you take a ruler to that, I don't know if you can see from there, but the width of that is 5 millimeters. And then this is printed again to both sides, and in here we've got this, which is a 16-page A4 on 200 gram, and we've also got an amount of A4 sheets in here, so I'm not sure how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 A4 sheets in there, and you've got the 16 page. So that's quite a bit there with a 5 mil capacity. And this also is glued. So this is glued on, oops, let's show you that. This is glued on this edge here. So this flap folds around and then is glued, folds actually from the bottom up and then is glued on the short side. So those two are both A4 folders with and without capacity, printed full colour to both sides. So you can get a good amount of information in the folders, even if it has no capacity. So then I've got some samples here that are made up. So this is all of our folders are printed primarily, if they're this sort of standard shape, on a B2 full colour press. It's 10 colour, so printing the inside and the outside, i.e. both sides of the sheet of paper, the cost between doing single-sided and double-sided is pretty minimal. It's a set of plates and a little bit of ink. There's no real change in setup time or time on the press either. So this is an interlocking sample. So you can see that this folds round from the side, and then this bottom bit folds round, and then it interlocks at this corner edge here. And there's this one that hasn't got business card slots, but the business card slots to any folder can be added and taken out. It's just a little bit on the cutting guide. So this is also a, don't know if you can see from that capacity there, this is also a 5 millimeter, and it's interlocking. So why would you have an interlocking folder? So interlocking does a couple of things really. It allows for better storage. in that these would have to come into, when they're stored, they will come in a box like this, and as you can see, you only get a certain amount in these boxes, whereas if it's interlocking, they tend to be supplied as flat sheets, and then as you put your information in them, you will just make up the folder and interlock those two parts together. So they take up a lot less room. There's also a cost saving. So if you're not doing 10,000 odd, probably maybe up to 5,000, anything less than 5,000, then the amount of time it takes to set up a machine to glue these, it's not worth doing. So they're done by hand, and we have double-sided tape, and that's put on there, and then they're folded together, then they're made up, and then they're put in there. So the cost as an approximate for making up the capacity folders with a glued pocket, or non-capacity with a glued pocket, is roughly about £90 per 500. So it makes sense if you don't wish to, if you wish to save an amount of cost, and if you've got less space. So this is another. This is no capacity, and this again is interlocking. So this has the strip down the side and the strip here, and this one has the business card slot. It's a slightly different design, but we have an amount of templates. So the templates that we have, they're basically, to make these, you have a machine that comes down and cuts the shape and creases the paper at the same time, and then it's made up. So to make a cutting guide, that is to make the actual shape out so it cuts down, is about £120. And so if you have a bespoke cutting guide, i.e. we have to make it up to your design, you've got additional £120. And costs for these are increasing, as they are for everything else. So if it's a relatively simple cutting guide, you've got an additional £120, unless you use one of our templates in which someone has already paid for that cutting guide and we just reuse it. This is a similar one. So with most of the interlocking, you need two parts to lock into each other. This again is a 5mm. We've got a whole range of these. So this is a different one. So you can have a 6-page fold out. These are, I've only got standard samples in here, I think, of glued and non-glued. So this is a standard glued on this edge, 5mm capacity with business card slots. Now we also do A5. So realistically, you can have any shape you want. So this is the same process we use for making up packaging, so boxes, cartons, that type of thing. So hopefully that's sufficient. This is a basic overview of standard interlocking and non-interlocking folders with and without capacity. So usually if you let us know what it is that needs to go into it, we can then give you an approximation on how big a spine you need. In all honesty, 5mm is probably about right. Obviously with some packs, sample packs and things, we can go up to pretty much 25mm, and then after that you're going to go into a box carton. The other thing to take into account is postage. So predominantly for A5 really, because if you've got A5 with no capacity, as long as it's under 100 grams, you can get that probably under small letter. So it means that your postage costs are reduced. If you're going to a large letter, you just need to make sure that it complies with the Royal Mail and it doesn't come out as a package. So again, with 5mm on the large A4, you're fine with that. But if you just let us know, realistically what the purpose of it is. So if it's being handed out or whether it's going via the post and what the capacity is in it, then we can give you the advice that's needed. We do hold some samples. We tend to hold a lot less these days, but hopefully this is just a 10-minute overview. If you need more information, then please do call us. So that's RWP Group, and our website address is www.rwpgroup.com. Thank you.